I'll start this with the NCAA women's bracket has been phenomenal up until this point. I don't typically watch college sports. There's just too many teams, too many players to remember. I typically wait till people get to the pros, and then I'll start to follow them there. And I'll keep a light follow via social media like SportsCenter, Bleacher Report, things like that. But the girls have been getting a ton of coverage this past year, especially since last year's Iowa LSU game. And there's a lot of racial undertones within that argument as well. I'm not going to cover none of that. At the end of the day, these are two young women out there balling their asses off and trying to put women on the map and show the world that women can hoop. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give kudos to that for all these women that are out there participating and balling and working at it and balling and showing up on the biggest stages. Last night we watched one of the greatest women's college games of all time. And when you go through the comment section, you can only see like the ignorance of things. But I want to pay homage to both of them because this has been a year in the making. It's given women's college women's college basketball a platform, and it's only been growing exponentially since that game last year. And that game last night versus Iowa versus LSU did not disappoint anyone out there. And I think we need to be mindful of that and not focused on how the media likes to put white against black, good versus evil, and all of that nonsense. These girls worked their asses off all year long to get to where they were last night. And of course, somebody's got to fall. You know what I'm saying? But the hard work shows in their performance. These girls scored nearly both 90 points on their teams. Like, women's games don't typically get up into the high 80s, 90s. You don't typically see that in women's basketball. Even in college men's basketball, you don't always see that. And they put up like 93 points and like 84 points yesterday. It was nuts. So it was like a scoring clinic, you know what I mean? That just goes to show that when these girls put in work and when they're given the opportunity to showcase their abilities, they show up. They show up and they showed out. And I think that we should do a little bit less trying to demonize one side or the other and really appreciate the fact that the women hooper era is here, dog. I don't want to lose that because it's here. It's right now. Like, we're watching the stepping stones of it. Before, we would see one or two athletes come out. You know what I mean? A couple years ago, it was Brittany Griner. Years ago, we're talking about Lisa Leslie. You know what I'm saying? But, like, every couple years, they just put out a good athlete. This whole entire, like there's at least 10 stars that are playing college basketball. And we're not even talking about the people that are underneath those stars that are, like, co-captains on their teams with these stars. Like, yo, we should be hype right now, not only for women's basketball, but for women in general, man. They're finally getting an opportunity to shine, and we should just be basking in the enjoyment of these women hooping. Peace.